Greetings, greetings, and more greetings. And welcome to the Positive Tarot. Yes, yes, yes. I am your hostess, Lesero, and today I have a special message for you. And right from the get go, right from the beginning, I'm going to tell you that it is about new beginnings. But before beginnings, sometimes there is something that comes before a beginning. What could that be? This takes me to the numerical system because most of everybody believes that the numerical system starts from the number one. And then somebody came along and showed us that, there is a zero before one. And similarly, I guess this could be argued, but I'm just using this as an example. Similarly, you could find that a lot of people accept that Monday is the first day of the week, and then somebody comes and shows that actually Sunday is the first day of the week. Okay, so then in this way, in a similar manner, I am that person who's coming to tell you that no, the beginning is actually not the beginning. Before beginnings come something else, and those are, or that is, an ending or endings. Yes. So the card that we're going to be beginning with today is the one of a full moon eclipse, right? Or full moon eclipse. And it says conclusions are within reach, right? And then it is followed by communication is key, which is the new moon in Gemini. And last but not least, third card, you know the part in threes, right? The new moon in Cancer, you and your loved ones are safe, right? Okay, cool. So beginning with the conclusion. Beginning with the first card. First card, conclusions are within reach. Many times in life it is very hard to let go. But when it is time to let go, many times you will recognize or realize that you get synchronicities or signs from many aspects of your life. And what that means, let's say maybe you have to make a change in your romantic life, and then you see certain changes happening in your school life, in your work life, in your home life, in your friendship life, or and even in your romantic life itself. For example, seeing changes that support that particular change that needs to take place. The fact of the matter is that sometimes when something needs to happen, you could decide that it needs to happen, or rather, let me say, and slash or you see all the signs leading towards that action. So conclusions are within reach. For example, if you write an essay, I've been writing an essay recently. So, okay, cool. Essays, not an essay, but essays. Okay. An essay, it has a process, an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, just basic. Basically an essay. So at some point when you are at the introduction, you have an idea that you're a certain distance from the conclusion. However, once you get into the body, you are one step. The step could be small or it could be huge, it could be a leap, but you know that you're one step away. But if you have been in the body for a certain amount of time and you can see that you have covered the certain areas or topics of discussion, then you are ready to conclude the discussion, right? So you have in your life done so many things, you have planted so many seeds, you have watered, you have gardened, you have passed so many stages. I mean, nothing is overnight. Like, nothing happens overnight, no success happens overnight, but there have been many sleepless nights, and this card shows that you can see based on the procedure of things or based on the stage where you are that conclusions are within reach. You are closer to the finish line than you are to the starting line, to be quite frank, right? And I'm going to move on to the next card for a little bit. I might come back to this one. But the next card is the new moon in Gemini, which is communication is key. at a time when I'm recording this, oh my gosh, I do not know when I'm gonna post this. So maybe let me rather not say any time or give any time signifiers in terms of my current time of recording, but I will talk about, okay, fine. You know what? Um, okay. Since I tapped into that, I will just ask for permission to take a detour and actually give a background of my current situation, right? So, I have been taking care. A few months ago, I had been taking third videos relatively regularly, but then my phone fell, my device fell, so I couldn't take any more videos because you could say I did not have a recording device anymore, right? So I bought a different phone. It wasn't cheap. Well, it is cheap. Okay, it depends on your standard of living, but based on my current financial position at that time, like it wasn't cheap. Okay, it was like a proper investment in a quality device, which I was going to use for its imagery, for its photography and videography, right? Okay, so what happened is that I bought the phone, took a whole lot of pictures, yeah, I used it. Okay, fine, for my own personal reasons. I mean, come on. I realized that I hadn't taken selfies in such a long time. So I found a way to reconnect to myself, since now we connect to ourselves through devices, right? We take selfies, we record ourselves, we write our notes. Technology has ingrained itself in our lives to that extent. Um, but yeah, so I use the new phone to connect with myself. But then there's been problems with the camera, and I really do not know what it is, because I might be out here taking pictures, and then when I go to the gallery, they are not visible, right? So I have been inspired a lot recently, like a lot, to record tarot videos, because there's like a lot of things happening, a lot of synchronicities, spiritually, physically, materially, um on all aspects of life. And now is a very important time for me to, be in this position to receive messages, and also to give, to be a conduit for spirit. But not everybody is in the same spirit, because now I got this phone and it has just decided to act up. Not my old phone, no, this brand new phone, which I made an investment in. But you know what? I decided I'm just gonna carry on and continue recording. I will see what I can do. Um, I will perhaps take pictures of these cards, use some imagery, even though my preference would be to record videos while I, do this reading live. But we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. So I'm getting this energy of like, with this conclusions are within reach. As much as I already introduced the following card, I'm just gonna touch on the final card, the first card, a final time. Conclusions are within reach. So sometimes when you have to conclude, you'll just work with what you have. Going back to the example of an essay, conclusions are basically, in a way, summaries of what has already happened. Or just a report to say, this is what was done, this is what has happened, this is the outcome, this is the way forward. So conclusions are within reach. You're going to make a brief summary, a show, and an appreciation post if you need to, or to people, or to your field, or to your field of work, field of study, or whatever it is that you are concluding. You're just going to go out there, go back again, to the beginning, right back to the end, not forward, but back to the end, which is now. And then finally bring it all together, wrap it up, and happily, positively put a close to everything. As much as I mentioned a few different cards already that we're going to be discussing, I feel a little bit biased, but maybe let me not say this is bias. Perhaps I will feel connected to each card that I will hold, but I must say I am feeling very connected to this card in particular. You know, that full moon eclipse. Conclusions are within reach. Conclusions mean there was a process that had already happened. There was a beginning, there was a body, now it's a conclusion. There was a beginning, there was a process. There was an input, there was a process, now it's an output. It's the last. This is not a new beginning. Maybe it could, technically, based on the other cards which we have already looked at in the reading, we already know that a new beginning is coming, but conclusions mean going back to the past and laying the dead to rest and saying, I did this. Acknowledgement, complimenting yourself, others if there were others involved. Acknowledgement. This is the time of looking back, of reflection. This is the time of saying, I have done this. This is the time of saying, I'm satisfied. Many times you move on to different activities and they don't satisfy you because you do not take the time, because satisfaction isn't just a feeling, but it is an experience. And the difference between feelings and experiences is that feelings are within a human being. The context of a feeling is a person, whereas the context of experiences are a time and a place, right? So at this particular point in time and in this particular experience right here and right now, you've done so much. You've worked so hard. You have. If you have felt that nobody has seen it, nobody saw it, nobody has seen it, I'll be the first to tell you. I'm telling you this right now. You have put in the work. You have paid the price. If nobody has told you that everything comes to an end, then this is the point in time that I, perhaps, for whatever reason, I'm the person who's sent here to tell you that everything comes to an end and this is the end. And endings are not all bad. Why? Because sometimes at the end, only at the end, that is when you get your reward. You could get paid before doing your work, or you could get paid after doing your work. At this point in time, in this reading, I would not lie. You are one of those who get paid after, in the end, after all the pain, after all the sadness, after all the loving, after all the letting go, after all the investment, after all the loss, after everything. After it all, listen, you're going to get your payment in the end. Okay? So don't worry about that. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the next card. I'm going to try to keep the next cards brief. Not to say that I won't discuss them in depth, but I will try to say a lot. So minimal words. Communication is key. Whatever you have been through, communicate it. Try to say a lot in a little, because you have been through whatever you've been through your whole life. However, you cannot spend double your life reliving or recommunicating what you've been through. You have to transmute it, summarize it, minimize it. However, as much as you summarize it and minimize it, do not relinquish it into nothingness, because it is not nothingness. Everything that has affected our lives to a large extent or to a small extent, it is not nothing. There is a difference between small and nothing. So if somebody ever belittles you, this is on a side note, if somebody ever belittles you, it does not mean that you're nothing, because there's a difference between a little and nothing. So If there is something that you have gone through and you have overcome it, in the beginning it was your downfall, it was your grave, it was your thorn in your heel, it was your pain. In the end, it was your conquest, it was your victory, it is your success. Do you realize that there is no victory without an enemy or without a fight? Do you realize that there is no conquest without a challenge? Do you realize that there is no happiness without an opportunity for sadness? Do you realize it or not? Or am I the person who has to now make you aware of this fact? If that is the case, then it is fine. I'm here and you are here, and we're together in this beautiful moment, this beautiful point in time. Communication is key, right? New moon in Gemini. What is Gemini? Gemini is two. Gemini is duality. Gemini is twins. Gemini is opposites. All right. I do not mean to be biased with the sun moon. Okay, not a sun moon, but sun, Venus, and Mercury. Well, as well as the Lilith, but we're not talking about that. But with quite a few placements in Gemini, the thing is that the world comes in dualities, right? And we would like to argue that in terms of sexuality, it isn't just masculinity and femininity. There are also other genders in between, but those are the two extremes. Fact remains, there could be a myriad of choices in between, but there is always a beginning and there is always an ending. Right now, there is a time of an ending, and it is time for you to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, you are closing this chapter of your life. And as you are closing this chapter of your life, you are opening this new chapter, but you are communicating about your experiences from your past life, from your past chapter, as a beginning to this new chapter. Why? It's a form of release. Not just release, it's a form of enhancement. Not just enhancement, it's a form of revision. Because why do we need to revise? Revision is necessary to review what knowledge we have gained, right? And knowledge gained through life experience, whatever it is that you've been doing with your life, whether it's working, whether it's loving, caring, going through heartbreaks, or going through successful relationships, whatever. Come on, at this point in time, I'm gonna be frank with you. Whatever it is that you're doing with your life, okay, I won't say nobody cares. At this point in time, I realize somebody cares. There's no such thing as nobody cares what you're doing with your life. There's at least one person in your life who cares, whether you would like to acknowledge them or not. But the fact is that there's no such thing as nobody cares. But anyways, you are the person who cares the most about what you've been through. So now it is an opportunity for you to actually transmute it. This is a crossroad that many artists face, but non-artists don't. Okay, I would not know because I'm not a non-artist. I'm an artist as an artist can be, but I will assume, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, artists go through things in life and they have a medium of expression, which is their art, through which they express their experiences and emotions, thereby monetizing the experiences and/or growing from the experiences. On the other hand, non-artists might not see the experiences as inspiration for creation, but might see them as experiences which come with a weight, and they weigh heavily, you see. So the point is that you now, as an artist, you have that ability to say that whatever that you have gone through, whatever that it is you are concluding, or rather, whatever that it is that you are carrying on your shoulder, you have the opportunity to let it go. You have the opportunity to lift it off your shoulders by means of communication. Whatever it is that has closed your third eye, what your spiritual eye, or your goals, your dreams, you have an opportunity to let it go by means of communication. Yes, to let it go, and to set yourself free. And now, like, communication is a key is a very, very interesting thing, because a key can set you free, but a key can incarcerate you. So through not communicating, you could be overweighing yourself, you could be imprisoning yourself through certain positions, through certain, not positions, but possessions. But I don't know, perhaps positions as well. But perhaps through certain worldviews, thoughts, ideas, even. However, when you communicate, then will you be free. But this is also obviously more easily seen through situations where a person is in a position of need, in need of help. When you are in need of help and you communicate that, you get help. Like, come on, doors open. I mean, the light comes in, things change, you're okay, things are fine, right? So perhaps there's something also about asking for help, right? But as these conclusions are within reach, it might not always be easy. It might feel like the world is ending, and during that time, it might be important to remember that as much as the world is ending, it doesn't mean that. Okay, actually, as much as your world is ending, it doesn't mean that the world is ending. Perhaps your old world is ending, and there's an opportunity to create your new world. What does that mean? Maybe it means that your old beliefs, they go away, new ones come in. Your old knowledge becomes irrelevant, new knowledge becomes relevant, and you have the opportunity to attain that new knowledge. Perhaps new experiences, perhaps who knows, perhaps even relocation, you know come on, like, anything can change at this point in time. And the thing about change, you know I already set out the topic of discussion, but change is something that scares a lot of people, because the unfamiliar scares a lot of people. But sometimes when you change to something that you are familiar with, then what is the worry, really? Let us say, for example, you are destined to make a change, to let go of what you've been doing for a living. Let's say you're an artist, you know I'm an artist. I do not know if my readings are by default biased towards artists, but I do personally believe that these are life messages that could be applied across the board. But if you feel that these are biased towards artists, please let me know. But also, if you feel like you're an artist, then you are at the right place. If you feel that this method closes you out, please let me know, and communicate with me how you would like to go about things, and so that we can both feel very heard and very loved and very involved. Okay, so communication is key. Listen, I am saying this, I'm demonstrating this, and I am repeating this. Okay, communication is key, and it's very important for you as you transition into this new change, as you close all doors, as you step into a new you, as you communicate with people from your old life, people within your new life. It is important that you also establish the same communication that assures you that everybody that you care about, your loved ones, are safe. Because there comes a point in time whereby you realize that you're not alone in life. As much as it can be easy to feel that you're alone in life, you're not. And there are people who you love, and there are people who love you. Whether they add value to your life right now, specifically at this specific moment in time, or yesterday, or if they added value into your life yesterday, or if they will specifically add your value into your life tomorrow, specifically, like perhaps it might not be now, perhaps it might not be around now, but these people, they matter to you regardless of what they do or do not do for you, right? However, these people that you care about, these people that you love, sometimes when you actually close some doors, sometimes when you take that risk or that calculated risk, you just have to let them know that everything's okay, and also be assured that they'll be okay the same way that you are assured that you'll be okay. I mean, come on. If you didn't think that you were going to be okay, do you think that you were going to make this decision? Do you think that you were going to make this this change in your life? Do you think that you were going to take this change? If you did not believe, have a certain amount of faith, I mean, there is certain room for failure, but if you did not believe in success, would you have? Would you have applied? Would you have pressed submit? Would you have gone and spoken up for yourself? Would you have created a walkway, a pathway where there was none? What would you have done? Right? Because it took a certain level of self-belief, self-love, self-care, and self-confidence for you to be where you are right now. Okay? And many times in life, what holds us back from actually closing entire chapters of our lives is the worry of our loved ones. They're going to be okay. Even before you got this opportunity, they didn't die. They may have not been okay, but I mean, if you're still worried about them today, it means they're still here, isn't it? Right? They're here for you to worry about them. It means that whatever you've been through, they survived it all. You survived it all. Isn't it? Right. You can do it again. You can do it again. Conclusions are within reach. Conclusions are a blessing because sometimes you have to close one door to reach. It's like a passage in a hallway or in a doorway. Sometimes you have to pass through the reception area to get to the CEO's office. But some people, they don't want to get past, you have to leave some things behind. To get to the CEO, you have to move forward, leave the CEO behind. Some things are meant to be left behind. They are meant to be there. Life wouldn't be easy without a secretary. But life or your business or your endeavors aren't meant to end with a secretary. They're meant to end in implementation. Perhaps not even with the CEO, but with the benefactors or beneficiaries. Okay? Yes. Don't worry. You're going to be okay. If you're okay now, you're going to be okay again. The same way you've been always okay. But just make sure that it's not a must, but for your own growth and to help the universe and the collective at large and everybody else, whatever change that you're going through, make sure to communicate. That will open other doors for you that you might not have expected. However, your spiritual guides are proud of you. You've come a long way. And thank you for sharing with them, with yourself, and with the world. God bless.